let's talk about this first week of my fast. Okay, so week 1 of this cleanse, this fast, honey, listen. I was really excited to start it. So the first couple of days were pretty easeful. I had my goals and my intentions fresh on my mizine. So it was just really easeful. Like, it was easy sailing. Days 1, 2, 3, and even day 4 was like a breeze. This is after I decided to incorporate smoothies though. So I made an adjustment early on. If you watched my video before this video, my 2 videos before this video, I had mentioned that I was going to be juicing with just a blender. I didn't have the patience. I tried it. And I didn't like it. And I wasn't finna force myself. But in that like trial and error, I also realized, and at that time, like during those couple days or that day, like the day before, the day after, and that day, that I actually tried to do it, because there's nothing that I tried to do before. Like, I've seen people do it, heard people doing it. I'm like, in theory, boom, yeah, just get the cheesecloth and get the blender and blend it up and squeeze with the cheesecloth. And I did that and juice came out, but it was like extremely tedious, and I was trying to do it before work, and I just really didn't leave myself the time to do it properly. And so I was like, nah, fuck that, I'm not gonna do it. Boom. During that time though, I was really being reminded of the importance of planning, like planning period, in any way. So planning my meal or my, food intake, my meals. They're still meals, I guess. I'm like, is a smoothie, is a juice a meal? Is a smoothie a meal? But them my meals right now. So from planning your meals so that you save time and save money, to planning like your route, if you plan on going out and going shopping, being able to save time, save money again, save gas by planning it out. Like planning my days, like proper preparation prevents poor performance, And so planning has just never been one of my strong points. If you know me, you know I'm late about everything all the time because I haven't been a planner. And I'm realizing the importance of planning in my life, and just how it could just create more space for ease. It could help me like minimize stress, reduce anxiety if I just give myself, like, I plan ahead and I give myself the time that I actually need instead of trying to like rush and do something or whatever, right? So boom, that was like a major lesson. Planning, how important planning was. So like I said, early on, I decided that I was going to incorporate smoothies. And I'm like, okay, so it's gonna be a liquid fast. So it could be juices and it could be smoothies. I had this day at my job where we had to stay a little later, so they bought everybody dinner. And usually, I'm like, okay, so they buying dinner, I'm finna, splurge and get a little something that I wouldn't normally get, right? But I wasn't eating no solid foods, so I got a smoothie from like a local little smoothie place. And usually I don't buy smoothies because I make smoothies at home, and I just feel like I make them better at home. If you know, you know. And they had like a bunch of different like additives, like juice, like apple juice, pear juice, and I don't know what's in the juice. It's not showing what's in the ingredients for the juice, but then also like these protein enhancements and these energy enhancements and these milks and just everything. And so I just got like a berry smoothie or whatever, right? So that was like a moment of, I was really excited to get something. Then I was like, oh dang, like the day before I was like, oh yeah, tomorrow we can get dinner, blah blah blah. And then I'm like, I'll take a smoothie. So being able to just listen to myself, tune into myself, and like honor myself, and not be too hard on myself as far as making those adjustments and those changes, because I'm doing this for myself, right? And so I need to make sure that I'm giving myself what I need, and I need space and room, and I also need grace, and I also need to be able to adjust as I feel fit. So there was like that. Around day 5, I got hungry. And I got hungry in my mind. Like, I missed the sensation of chewing. I missed like warm foods. I missed just honey, anything. I haven't eaten meat in like mad years, right? But I was like, I could go for some chicken or something. So this, I knew it was my mind that was playing tricks on me, but my mind was really just craving some things, right? And so during this cleanse, during this fast, I've limited or cut off all like vices that I've used to cope. Because my desire is not to cope. My desire is to heal. I don't want like a temporary fix. I want the sustenance. I want the longevity of this thing, because it's not just about me. It's for my family to come. I want to be a whole person, to be able to pour into my children, to be able to even carry my children earthside, to be able to be a good partner to my partner, be a good daughter to my mother, a good sister to my brother. You feel me? I just want to be the best me and the most whole me that I can be, because I know that's going to enhance and strengthen all of my relationships, right? Starting with my relationship with myself. And so food has also been a vice for me. Like, I think I talked about that in the first video about the fast. So really like taking out all those vices, but something that I didn't really think about was, what am I going to be doing? I didn't think about in depth and in detail. What am I going to be doing instead? And it's not really like, okay, so I'm not going to smoke weed, but whatever. Not instead like that, but like, how can I self-regulate? What are my tools and what are my resources for self-regulating now that I'm not leaning into these external things to manage myself, or not manage myself, to avoid, to suppress, to ignore, or what have you, right? And so I've had a lot of emotions come up, and like fiercely and intensely, like rage, anger, sadness, sorrow, excitement, joy, passion, just feelings. Like, I'm just feeling like super vibrantly, super radiantly, a bunch of different things, right? And so today is really when I like had enough of my own shit, because I work with kids. I work with 4th and 5th graders, and they can be kids. Kids gonna be kids, right? So sometimes, a lot of the times, they're talking over one another, talking over me, whatever. So in order to maintain harmony in the classroom, we have different consequences. They sign consequence agreements, blah, 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 right? But today, they just like didn't really care. Yesterday, I was off of work because we was just off. We didn't have program yesterday. And the day before, those were like my easy breezy days. Like, the day Tuesday was like the beginning of the like, okay, I'm feeling hungry, I'm feeling irritable. Like, if you were a smoker, if you were a pothead, if you ever took a tolerance break, or you took a break, or you stopped, or you quit, you know how it feels to be like super irritable, because that thing that you used to do, or the things that you used to use in order to like find ease and peace and calm, you're not doing that no more. So now you on 100, or you on whatever, like you ready to go all the time. So, and it don't take much to get you going, right? And I'm not having this conversation with my kids because I don't really, like, I had the conversation about like me fasting and being hangry and talking to them about how they feel when they're hungry, blah, 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 whatever, right? But I'm not talking to them about like my other things that I'm releasing, right? It's because Maybe I should. Maybe, I don't know. Like, nah, I feel like I don't know. Any tips, trips, advice on that? I don't know. But I feel like that's not really none of their business. They should just be doing what they need to do, but they gonna be kids, right? So today I really noticed how on edge I was, and I end up like yelling at a student. Like, so I see him hitting other people. He's like being disrespectful towards me. I'm telling him repeatedly, sit down, blah, 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 do this, whatever. Like, really trying to like be self-controlled while I'm communicating with him, even though I'm angry with how he's acting. Just trying to like communicate, like, this is why you don't need to do that. This is unsafe. This is unfair to them, blah, 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 whatever. But he's like relentless, right? Today, I don't know what the heck was going on. He be having his days though. He be like this. Pray for my brother. But I seen him hit a little girl. So I was like, sit down, go sit down. You're not able to be a part of this group activity right now because you're not being a good team player. So I need you to reflect on that. Boom. He gets up. After he sits down for a while, but then he's back up again. And like, because he sat down and reflected, I was just like, I was okay with him being up and interacting with the other kids. But then I'm like helping somebody else with their homework or something, and I see him kicking a number of students. And I'm like, you need to go to the office. Like, you need to leave the classroom and you need to go to the office. Why do I gotta leave? Why? Da, 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 da. You need to leave. So he's yelling like, that's stupid. I don't think I got, like, blah, blah, blah. So I'm yelling. And then the kids is talking anyway, so it's just loud in the classroom. So I'm like, you need to get out, right? Boom. I lost control. I lost control, right? I allowed him to take me there. If you ever read the book, A New Earth, Eckhart Tolle talks about pain body. So I allowed his screaming pain body to connect with my pain body. And it was just this explosive moment that happened in the classroom. The door is open because he's yelling as he's moving towards the door, and I'm yelling at him to go further out of the door. And my supervisor comes in and she's like, what's going on? Like, and I'm like, he's hitting other students, he's kicking other students, he's been disrespectful all day. I asked him to go to your office. He's giving me a hard time about that. He needs to leave the classroom. She's like, okay, I hear you, and you need to control yourself because screaming at him to get out of the classroom is not okay. I'm irritated, so I'm like, but I'm hearing her. So I'm like, so I get back to the classroom. I get back into the classroom, and my students are like, Miss Ramsey, you need to relax. You need to reset. You need to count to 10. And I'm like, I will. And the girl's like, no, count to 10 right now. You need to count to 10. And like, I could get a little emotional right now because they was really like trying to like help me regain my composure. And I really appreciate them because they were sharing with me tools that we teach to them. And so it was just like this like full circle-ish type of a moment where they were the guides and they were teaching me, you know, and I was super receptive, and I was like, you right, I do. And the one boy was like, Miss Renzi, deep breaths. And I'm like, baby, you right, I do. And so just being able to learn from them in that moment, and being able to learn from myself as far as like, okay, this is something that happened in the classroom, and I know that I could have prevented it from happening had I planned better, right? And so while these emotions are coming up and while these things are flowing through me so rawly and so like unfiltered in a way, and not being super used to dealing with them in a raw and natural state, in a sober state, like, and still having the responsibility of going to work and showing up for these students and showing up for myself and being an example, you know, I'm like, okay, I gotta do better. Like, what can I do? What am I not doing that I can do? Boom. And so I was just thinking, okay, so I'm cutting all these things out. What am I implementing for myself? What resources am I using for myself now? You know, I can't just cut these things out, allow these emotions to come and have their way. You know, I still have to regulate myself. Still have to maintain self-control. So being able to think and brainstorm and remember what works for me and tap into or remember things that I've recently heard of that I want to look more into, right? So breathing is one thing, like really connecting with my breath. If I feel myself becoming anxious, pausing for the cause and breathing so that it's not building up throughout the day, throughout the work day, throughout life, right? And so something else that's really helpful for me is movement. And so as I'm thinking about these things, I'm like, I haven't done that in the past 2 days. Like, I haven't done it in the past 2 days. I haven't really made like intentional time for those things. And so being able to be like, okay, just reflecting and being like, all right, these things you know you need to do. Blowing up on the kids at work is not what you need to do. Losing your cool in traffic is not what you need to do. Getting so anxious, so worked up, so irritated is not what you need to do. Losing control of your emotions is not what you need to do, right? And it's very possible for me to avoid those messy situations like that through being more intentional about what other resources. So my advice or a gentle reminder to anybody who may also be fasting and fasting so intensely at that, make sure that you are caring for yourself wholly and caring for yourself in ways that allow you the space to move through these things that are going to be coming up during this process, during this experience. So making sure, this is for me, and this could be helpful to you as well. So for me, making sure that I'm doing a brain dump every rising, that I'm writing out, right? That I'm writing. Making sure that I'm taking time for intentional movement. And it could be erratic movement, but being intentional about setting the time aside to move my body, because that's another way that we release trauma and stress, right? And we can relax that way and really just connect with ourselves that way, connect with our ancestors, connect with the earth. Movement is like so incredible, so potent, so important. Making time for movement, making time for, like, what would you call it? Breathing, movement, writing. And I think it's just a part of movement, but like really moving these things through my body, like moving. So I guess those are the three things for me: writing, movement, and breathing. And so I would like to share a breathing exercise with you all. So if you could find yourself in a comfortable position, take my hand, let's get it. So this is a breathing exercise that you can do anywhere. It doesn't require any material, just your lungs, your diaphragm, your mouth, open mind, open heart, right? So you can find yourself in a seated position. You can lay down while you do it. It don't matter. So we're going to inhale and exhale. And for a couple breaths, we're just going to allow our inhale to feed our exhale. And when we're inhaling, we're going to make sure that we're inhaling deeply, right? Filling your belly first and your diaphragm, your lungs, and expanding your chest as well, filling up your throat, all them things. Just make sure you're getting real full, like a balloon, right? And just letting that inhale feed your exhale. So we're just gonna take a few moments and do this together. Let us begin. When you exhale, I want you to let it out of your mouth. I want you to sigh it out, and I want you to push it all out too. Sorry, for real. We finna start this time for real, for real. So like I said, I don't know if the camera was over here while I was doing it. Maybe I was into it. So while you're doing, I feel the difference, even just with those few breaths. And I know you feel the difference too, baby, if you was doing it right. Let's rest in there for a moment. All thanks for the breath that flows through me. All thanks. It's good, ain't it? It's good. The breath really feeds you. It really does fuel you, right? And I was like meditated this rising, and I was outside, and I was like, fill me up. Because I'm feeling a little hungry. I want to chew on something. I want to eat something. So breath, fill me up. Fill me up. Whatever. So, whew. While you're doing that, you can set your hand on your heart. You can set your hand on your like belly, on your abdomen area, and just really feel that expand coming out with your inhale, and as you push it back in, you can just really feel that, right? So doing that, something else that you can incorporate on the exhale is making the sound, because the power of vibration, honey, as we're releasing stress, anger, trauma, resentment, whatever it is, the vibration to carry it out and through and out. So you can and after you let your inhale feed your exhale, you can take a moment, like switch up the breathing pattern a little bit and pause or hold it at the top and then let it out. You can sigh it out audibly. You can do a nice little with it. Right? The vibration really helps. So try out a variation, find what works for you, what feels best for you. Don't worry about feeling silly if you're doing this in public. You need this healing for you. You're connecting with your breath for you. Who gives what them people think? They better take note. But if you want to do it in the car, if you want to go to the bathroom and do it real quick, whatever, baby steps, whatever. I'm gonna do it in the classroom. I'm gonna need y'all to join me. Join me. Meet me. I need a moment. I'm relaxing and resetting. I encourage and invite you all to do the same. Let's ground into the space, right? So that's something that I could do instead of losing control. Or I could just take a moment and pause for myself. I'm taking a moment. Keep it at a voice level 2. Talk amongst yourselves. Work on your homework. Whatever it is. Make it work for you in your life, right? So yeah, today's the 9th, so today's day 9 of my fast. Maybe I a little cheated today. At first I was thinking it was cheating, but then I'm like, as I adjust, I'm adjusting, right? So I didn't want to, and maybe it's a lack of self-discipline. I don't know. Let's feel into it. I really wanted something warm, and I didn't really know what to do with the fruit to make it warm. Like, heat it up, obviously, but what fruits are not going to be disgusting, repulsive, and slimy when I warm them up. So I sliced up some apples. I put a little bit of coconut oil on my fingers, and I just like rub those slices a little bit and put them on a tray, sprinkle some cinnamon on them, put them in the oven. Got in the shower, got out the shower. In the shower, we doing the breathing, and in the shower, we doing the things. We just washing it off, okay? We washing it off. Allowing the water to wash it away and off and out. I'm clearing my space. I'm clearing my aura. I'm getting rid of the day, right? Excuse me. Ooh, and I noticed some like burps too, like some burps, throat chakra, really, just the release, and also I take that as like a let me clear my throat, whatever, right? So boom, but see, I don't forgot what I was talking about. I don't remember. It escapes me, and that's okay. I'm gonna watch this back and be like, that's what you was talking about, duh. Anyway, make the breathing exercises work for you. Something that you could, some homework or something that you could look into is like somatic breathing exercises or just breathing exercises. You could look up Kundalini breathing exercises or what have you, wherever you are in your journey, in your practice. Oh, I was talking about cheating. And I had ate the apple slices, and I didn't want to start incorporating solid solid fruits until week 3, and I'm on the beginning of week 2. But I really wanted something warm. I was moving through those emotional things. Was processing that. And at first I was like, I want to eat. I'm about to make a sandwich. I'm about to warm up some whatever. I was going to make some food or something, right? And I'm like, no, settle down. You feeling a lot. And this is me trying to suppress that or trying to eat that away, and this is why we're doing this. So drink some water and relax, my love. Come in here and let's breathe through it. And that's when I just was like starting the breathing exercise or whatever. But I hate the apples, y'all. I hate the apple, and I'm not even mad about it. It's really no shame. It's like a tiny bit of shame because I just called it cheating, but I'm moving through that because really there's grace. And just because I ate the apples today don't mean I'm finna now eat fruit every day. I'm back to it. And I did have some apples. So call it what you want. We still in this thing though. The Omi will be like, I done ate the apples, I might as well get a salad tomorrow. No, not necessary, baby. Not necessary. You can go all the way off. Nah, we still in this thing, baby. Had a moment. We still in it. So I trust that you're still in it for you, whatever that means. I trust that this was able to meet somebody where they at. If you were able to take something away from this, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you like this. Share it with somebody else who you may be fasting with, if you started fasting with a friend or a family member or what have you. If you try the breathing exercises, let me know what feels the best for you. If it's the or if you want to put me on to something else, baby, put me on. I think that about sums it up. You know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back at it again on Tuesday with another update. Yeah, be blessed, be whole, be inspired, be empowered, be encouraged. You got this. Even if you slip up, baby, keep going. Don't quit. Especially as we transition from 2021 to 2022 as we go from this year into a new year. Don't give up. Don't give up because you are worthy of and worth it, okay? And you deserve what is on the other side of this thing. So yeah, all that good stuff. And peace and bliss. Peace and wholeness.